After 12 years together, their marriage had always been steady, no extreme highs, no crushing lows. The wife was consistently gentle, affectionate, and caring, and the husband valued her deeply. Life between them felt safe, predictable, and rooted in mutual respect. But things began to change when, out of nowhere, she introduced the idea of opening their marriage. She framed it as something worth considering, a way for both of them to explore relationships with other people. She explained that many of her friends were doing it, calling it a modern, progressive take on love, especially in 2024. Surprisingly, the husband didn't react with anger. Instead, he sat quietly listening to her. He began asking thoughtful, measured questions. What had made her bring this up? Was this truly her idea, or had her friends influenced her? She denied any outside influence, insisting it was her own decision. He pressed further, asking if someone specific had already caught her attention. Again, she said no. She assured him it wasn't about anyone in particular. She even offered to drop the idea entirely if it made him uncomfortable, promising they could continue their marriage exactly as it was. Still, the husband wasn't sure. He asked for time to process everything, and she agreed. Over the next few days, however, curiosity and unease gnawed at him. Quietly, he decided to check her phone and laptop, searching for any sign of emotional or physical betrayal. To his relief, he found nothing suspicious. No incriminating messages, no calls, no evidence of cheating. That discovery gave him some peace, but it didn't erase the unease in his gut. He still couldn't understand why she had made the request at all. A week later, after careful reflection, he reached a decision. He told her he couldn't accept the idea of an open marriage. If she wanted to see other people, he would rather let her go entirely. He was leaning toward divorce. Her reaction stunned him. She broke down, sobbing, pleading with him not to end things. She swore she still loved him and couldn't imagine losing what they had. But in his heart, something had already shifted. That one conversation had changed how he saw her, and he couldn't return to the way things were. When she refused to leave their shared home, he moved into the guest bedroom, creating both emotional and physical distance. Not long after, she fell ill and had to take time off work. Even while recovering, she kept asking him to return to their room and talk things through. He stayed firm. In his mind, her friends still played a suspicious role, or worse. Perhaps someone else had already captured her thoughts. His doubts deepened when he found something unsettling. Checking her phone again, he discovered hints pointing to a second phone, one he had never known about. It had been hidden from him. When she sensed he was onto something, she admitted the truth. Yes, she had another phone, and yes, she used it to talk to people outside their marriage. She claimed she thought he already knew, which was why she finally confessed. What he found on that phone broke him. There were intimate conversations where she shared personal details about their marriage and hinted at taking things further with someone else. It wasn't physical yet, but it was emotional cheating, and it cut just as deep. The trust they had built over more than a decade now lay in ruins. In that moment, he knew his instinct to consider divorce had been right. Despite loving her, he couldn't stay in a marriage where he was disrespected. Her suggestion of an open relationship, her secrecy with a second phone, and her emotional intimacy with someone else had pushed them to the edge. Even so, she begged for forgiveness. She promised to cut off the friends who had influenced her and do whatever it took to repair things. For a moment, he considered giving her another chance, but deep down, he knew the bond had already been broken. Trust, once shattered, can't be pieced back together like nothing happened. He realized he had to protect his self-worth and his emotional peace. Then came another devastating blow. A few days later, he learned that a close family member had died in a car accident. The grief was crushing. Already struggling emotionally, he now had another heartbreak to survive. He didn't have the strength to comfort his wife or deal with her guilt anymore. While he was mourning, she took it upon herself to plan the funeral, despite him asking her not to. She insisted, saying the deceased was like a son to her as well, and she felt it was her place to help. But to him, It felt as if she was centering herself in his grief rather than respecting his wishes. That act drove the wedge between them even deeper. Emotionally exhausted, he decided to completely detach. He cut off all communication, asking her to give him the space he needed to mourn. She continued texting and calling, accusing him of being unfair by shutting her out, but he stood firm. She had crossed too many lines. He moved into a small apartment above his restaurant, taking the ashes of his loved one with him. His brother, who worked there as a bartender, was told to keep her away if she showed up, and she did. She appeared in person, called, and sent messages, blaming him for taking the ashes and not letting her take part in the mourning. But he had blocked her on every number, every app, making it clear he wanted no further contact. That was the final break. Though it devastated him, he accepted there was no going back. The betrayal had cut too deep, and his need for respect outweighed whatever feelings remained. Divorce was the only path forward. But for now, he wasn't ready to take that step. He needed time to mourn, to heal, and to accept how his marriage had unraveled. He didn't know exactly when or how the divorce would happen. All he knew was that he would face it on his own terms, no matter what anyone else thought.